One of the more challenging conversations a parent can have with their son or daughter is when the child comes and says, "Mom, Dad, my friend just told me that he's gay or she's a lesbian. What do I do with that?" As faithful Catholics, and if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you're a faithful Catholic, want to be a faithful Catholic, want to live as a disciple of Jesus, these questions shouldn't rattle us, but they should also help us to have a deep and concentrated understanding of how to respond, not just in a worldly way, not just in a way that someone outside the church would respond, but in a way that a disciple of Jesus would respond. The response of someone who has said, "Jesus, you are Lord, and I want you to show me how to live for my own life and how to interact with the world around me." So when a child comes to you, your child comes to you with this interaction that happened at school, whether they're very young or in high school, it's good to think about what your response should be. It's really good to make sure that your child knows that you appreciate you bringing this to them, that as a mother or a father, you have this great responsibility to help your child to be a disciple of Jesus themselves, that your job is to help them work through and navigate these difficult situations. Before we get into exactly how to respond, I just want to give a little foundation about why we believe things that are maybe contrary or received with great suspicion or judgment from the world about sexuality. That God has revealed to us a truth about our sexuality that's good, that's worth not just staking our whole life on, but it's worth sharing with other people. The truth that in our bodies is written a language between men and women of complementarity, that the male body and the female body are made to go together, not just anatomically, but God made man incomplete and he made woman incomplete for them to be joined in this intimate union that we call marriage. The union that brings together a man and wife to become not just one and one, but to become one flesh, as Scripture tells us, and that union brings forth new life. And so it's written into our faith and into our nature that human sexuality is complementary between the sexes and has these two ends of unity and new life. And so when we think about how to engage in questions about people living in contrary ways to that, we have to understand that this truth about our sexuality is really good news, and that even if it's not received well, or even if it's not understood well, it's still good news. And we want to be people who bring good news, the gospel, to others in our lives. The first thing I would encourage you to tell your child is to make sure that their friend knows that they love them, that this doesn't change who they are or their friendship. They don't have to stop being friends with them or stop interacting with them, that they love them, they care about them, that they're still a friend. As Christians, and as Catholics especially, we're called not just to set ourselves apart from the world, but to bring our faith into all sorts of places. And so we don't have to pull away from friendships with people who maybe live a different way. Now we have to be careful, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but first and foremost to say that our love for each other and for others is not conditioned on how they act. So our love is the love that Jesus has poured into us. It's an unconditional, freely given, radically available love. The second thing I would encourage you to do is to help you and your child as a family to witness to your faith, to make sure that you are living, trying as best you can, to live as a disciple of Jesus. That you're able to witness to that in regular attendance at Mass, in praying together as a family. And let your child be a witness in their school as well, to pray before their meals or to talk about going to church, to live their faith with Jesus not as something apart or tucked away at home or some other place, but to live that wherever they go. That they talk about their faith in an even deeper way than they talk about their other activities. part of that witness always involves an invitation to share it with others. So to not be afraid for you or your child to invite their friend to come to church with you, to invite them to come to an event at the parish, or to invite them into your family, into your home even. To say, we want to share our faith not just in this official, extrinsic way, but we want to bring you into our life of faith as a family. And then the third thing I would encourage you to do is to practice with your child how to have this kind of conversation. Lots of children, and probably lots of us, are a little uncomfortable and don't know how to have these conversations, don't know how to share with another person an invitation to the church, or to share with another person the truth and the beauty about human sexuality that Christ has given us and entrusted to his church for each of us to be formed by. It's good for you as a parent to be watching this and learning here. So I commend you. You are doing a great job of trying to become the best mom or the best dad that you can be. Help your child to do that by practicing, even role-playing that kind of conversation. We don't have to be perfect at it. We just have to try, and we have to love. And to love not in a way that compromises the truth or the reality of what we know about the gospel. Love that always invites people more deeply into relationship with Jesus. Because it's in knowing Jesus that we know ourselves. And in knowing ourselves, we know our deeper identity than just my sexual orientation, my romantic desire. I know who I am, that I am made in God's image, that I am loved intimately and deeply by him, and that he calls me to a deeper relationship with him than anything that this world promises. So, if your child comes to you, mom or dad, my friend at school said he or she is gay or a lesbian, just think about ways to teach them to love their friend, to witness to their faith and invite them, and even to help them to have that conversation about what we know to be true and about sharing their faith with them. God bless you.